Welcome to another Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle Hako from CZT Lara Williams. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. All right, this is a grid pattern, and I will let you know now in the description box. I have my step outs as well as Lara's. Now in hers, she put a note that you could start at step 5, or step 1. And so I did it the way she had it, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to start at step 5. And so what I did was in my step out, I started it at step 5. So that way and then you can take a look at both and compare and see what works best for you. So I'm going to draw just I have this so I don't I have my little choppy thing here so I don't fall off the screen. All right, so we're just going to do a 4 square. And all right, and then cut in half. That's a little bit wonky, but that's all right. Okay, so the reason that I liked starting at the later step was because I personally had trouble starting on the way she had it. Is you start with a small diamond in the center of each, and then or your way out to touching the sides. And it's like, yeah, it just didn't happen. So since she offered the option, and even if she didn't offer the option, we might have done that anyway, just because. So I'm gonna do this. So I'm looking for the middle of this side to the middle of the top. And so kind of if you go from middle to middle to middle, then even if your grid is a bit wonky, it's okay. I kind of think that when we do it this way, it makes it a little forgiving, because at least these points are lining up, and that's what we want. Whoa, well, that's interesting. Okay. Again, middle to middle to middle to middle. And that just seems to work. Then we're going to aura. And I said I was keeping that there. It's in the way of my hand. All right, I'm just going to lose that and hope I don't go off the screen. I'm still working on my new setup here, trying to perfect this. Okay, so I'm going to aura all 4 sides of the inside of these diamonds. And if you're new to Zentangle, auraing, as you can see, it just means we're kind of outlining. I guess this one would be inlining since I'm going on the inside. And you decide how far apart you want that. And then, you aim for consistency, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right. Oops. Oh, not get that to meet right there. Okay, so we're going to do a total of 3. 1, 2 auras, and then the inside, which will then be filled in. So there's 1, and we're going to do it again. Now what's nice about doing it this way also is, if you kind of keep no matter how you do the auraing, knowing that, we're doing essentially three rounds on the inside, it doesn't really matter how the distance is here as much, as long as it doesn't get so small you can't fit that 3rd one in the middle. And then 2, because what I ran into was if these inside diamonds either were odd shaped or too big or something, then I ran into trouble on the outside. So that was the other reason I was like, no, let's do this the opposite way like she suggests, because that is brilliant. And then we're just, doing the inside aura and then filling it in. And I'm going to take a look, because I think, especially on this one that we have filled in, you can kind of like this. I just want to put a couple extra lines here, maybe make it a little more boxy, because they're looking a little rectangle-y diamondy. And that is the beauty of when we're filling things in like this, is that we can, it's that course correction. No such thing as mistakes in Zentangle, but we can do course corrections, and it's just our secret. All right. So once you have this, then the next step is we're essentially going to aura these corners, and which would ultimately, it's going to create the illusion of the whole like this whole box being auraed. So the only thing we have to be careful is we're going to use the hollow bow technique here, and if you don't know what that means, I'll explain in a moment. All right, so we're coming to this. I'm traveling my pen over and putting my pen down on the other side, and hopefully, well, it got a little close down there. There we go. But the idea of the hollow bow, if you don't know, is so, here's where I left off, travel my pen over as if I was drawing, but I'm not. Because then, if the closer you can get, the better it looks that like you have drawn underneath. Now, one thing I try to do with this is also to, these corners, to try to have them also line up a little bit. It always helps if the outside thing is has a little bit more order to it, but you know what? It is what it is, and it's fine. And again, working to keep a consistent, look at that little guy to meet up there, a consistent distance. But in the end, it'll all work out lovely. Now, and then also you have to avoid the temptation, as I almost ran it right up to the line that I don't want it at. So for finishing this, as I'm doing this here, I'll show you one idea for shading, or actually, maybe two, because I do have another completed one that I played with some shading that I can show. Maybe do something different here. All right. So interestingly, on her step out, she kind of ended it here, but in one of the pictures, she added some beveling. So I put that as an additional step. So know that if you want to leave it here, of course you can. But if you want to add this beveling step, then we're just going to take from corner to corner and just draw a little straight line. So in each box, just that corner to corner, which is also a good reason, to try to keep these evenly spaced. And actually, these are already kind of beveled right here where the diamonds go across. But like I said, this is an optional step if you wish to do it. It kind of gives it a neat look, like that. And then shading and things are completely up to you. Could add color, and say also going along with the course correction idea. If there's something that you just really don't like so if this really bothered me, which I'll say it doesn't really, but but we're gonna go ahead and do something about it anyway, so that way we can demonstrate. No, I think I'll leave that. So you can feel free to color in, and then I can neaten that up. But you can, if you want, color in any of those. I know on her sample, she combined, I think it looked like she maybe combined a couple sections. So you wouldn't even necessarily have to do this many auras if you didn't want to. Actually, I think it might be fun to do. I'm going to go crosswise. But that's something, so when you do something and you go, oh, just make a mental bookmark of it, and then and keep going. Unless it's something that, if you ended up going the wrong direction, depending on the tangle that you're doing, if you've gone a wrong direction or something, then sometimes it's better just like, well, we'll just keep going. However it's going, just, keep going with it. And who knows, maybe you end up with a whole new tangle. Well, I might as well just be consistent here. I was going to just leave those two blank, but I didn't like it then. But then, yeah, so then when you're, when you're finished, then you can kind of take a look and decide, well, whatever you have bookmarked in your mind, that was a place that you didn't care for, then you can decide, well, will shading take care of it? Because sometimes shading does take care of it. If not, then, well, is it something that could be filled in? And then that's the next best thing. Or if it's something, filled in, and then like I did here where I evened out that line, then you have that option. All right, almost done here. Like I said, so you could have fun. This is kind of neat because then this looks like these are like decorations on, well, I guess it would be I guess you could say inside or outside of a window, or kind of neat looking. So you could do stuff like that. Could also, actually, I'll do this. We could shade in this background. Probably should have done that before I added all of that heavy black, but let's just see what that adds to it. And I know we've got really creative folks watching and on the Facebook group, and I know I'm going to see some beautiful something that will probably end up looking like wood in these in these borders of these panes here. So you can do something like this where it's not really, it's shading, but we're kind of coloring it at the same time with the graphite. And this is what I do, is I just put a scribble in, so that way it's not necessarily too dark. And then just move it around with the tortillon to spread it out and smooth it out into the whole section. Working to not, I'm kind of being a little quick. I haven't done too bad not going into the space that I don't want to go into. Yeah, so that's kind of neat. And then on this one, all I did was I added graphite to the outside of the entire diamond, and because I think it's fun to have them just like pop like that. So anyway, that is Hako. Again, hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And just a really, really neat tangle with lots of options for decorating afterwards. Also, don't have to have it be an exact square grid. You can, have it be kind of smaller and then graduate into a larger size, and you can just have fun with it. So with that, if you enjoyed this, I would love to have a thumbs up. Those are much appreciated, as well as if you liked it enough to see more and want to subscribe, I appreciate that as well. And if you do hit subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell next to it so you can decide how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. And again, in the description section are the step outs, as well as I put for more inspiration, and I'll put Lara's blog in there. And there's ways to connect with me if you want to, come pop on a Thursday and take a class. I also have a new Tangle Addicts Club, which is right now, because I'm somewhat developing it. I have a number of classes that I'm planning on teaching. It's $15 a month, and will remain that for founding members, because I appreciate people that have have faith in me and are enjoying the classes enough to help me to be able to produce even more content for us to all continue our tangling habits. So with that, that's all available. It's all on my website, and I wish you a very, very, very happy tangling.